Scott Walker's doing incredibly well in Iowa, and I have to admit I was really concerned about him in terms of him being a front runner, because he seemed previously, maybe it's because I wasn't exposed to him beyond the realm of Wisconsin, but he just seemed to lack that charisma that you have to have as a candidate, and you're definitely going to need going up against a populist agenda in 2016. But he seems to be kind of turning here, and the polls, I think, are reflecting that. Give me your thoughts.
GOPAC's had a long history with Governor Walker, and not surprising that we're seeing Governor move up as more and more people get to know him and get to know his record. And it's also not surprising that the attacks on him continue to increase. One now that is pretty prominent in the media is the fact that he didn't go to college, which I would remind folks that more people have graduated from the School of Hard Knocks than all of the Ivy League schools combined.
68%.
And it is an elitist. It screams of elitism. And we've had many firsts in this country, and maybe Scott Walker will be the first president of the United States who didn't graduate from college.
Well, and what gets me, David, is the fact that you have so many talking heads of the MSNBC type, and the only reason people know what we say is people like us, or that people know what they say is people like us talk about them. But they try to actually argue, David, that somehow if Scott Walker went back to college and sat there and got the last, half credit or credit and a half, and got a 4-year degree, that would suddenly somehow validate his years as governor and turning Wisconsin's deficit into a multi-million-dollar budget surplus, which seems positively insane to me.
When people make their votes in 2016, they're going to be more looking at, if Governor Walker is our nominee, the fact that he has cut taxes over $2 billion, that the income tax income tax cuts that he passed benefited the lowest and middle income earners more than any other group. The fact that Wisconsin is helping to lead the nation in manufacturing jobs, that agricultural exports are up out of Wisconsin, that tourism is up out of Wisconsin, that Wisconsin is now deemed the #1 place for job creation by many business analysts. Those are the things that, if the economy continues to be a top concern for voters, which every indication is it will be, given the policies of this administration, they're going to look for someone who has experience getting government, putting policies in place that create jobs. Scott Walker's done that.
Yeah, I think he's proven himself more so than what he would learn sitting in the Tupperware fresh environment of academia, which just, here we have somebody who went to Harvard and Columbia, and look at the state of the country. Look at the state of foreign policy. It's in shambles. How many college degrees does it take to declare ISIS a threat?
Well, and Governor Walker is even trying to help people go to college. He's frozen tuition there in Wisconsin. So it's not as if Governor Walker is anti-college. He's actually trying to help people pay for college and get there.
I have to ask you about what I was seeing being tweeted out the other day by his son. More than 100 pro-union demonstrators outside of a home Monday evening, putting signs in the yard. They had all of their placards. They were yelling all manner of things. But it wasn't Governor Walker's house. It was his parents' home. So basically, all of these union folks went out and decided to protest some old folks. How did Governor Walker's parents take that?
Well, it's unfortunate they're doing that. It's not new for the Walker family, in that Governor Walker has done many bold things in Wisconsin that the unions haven't liked. And since day one of his administration, they have been doing tactics like this because they don't agree with his policies. I would offer to you, though, Dana, it does give the governor a little bit of insight as to what he's going to face in a presidential campaign that not a single other Republican running can say they've had the type of treatment that not only the unions, both local and the national unions have done to Scott Walker since he's been in, but also what the national media has tried to do to Scott Walker. He will have what I would say, a little bit of skin toughening that the other candidates are going to lack because they've not been through the fire this way.